In 1992, a fishing village called Chungungo on Chile's Atacama coast lost its groundwater supply entirely. Wells had run dry. Trucks delivered rationed drinking water twice weekly. Then engineers installed a row of vertical mesh panels on the ridge above the village, structures resembling giant window screens positioned against the Pacific wind. Within one season, those panels were producing 15,000 liters of clean water daily from condensation alone. No pumps, no pipes from outside, no rainfall required. A desert that hadn't seen significant rain in years was delivering water every single night. The structure is called a fog collector, and the physics behind it is simpler than you'd think. The Chungungo installation wasn't guesswork. It came from 2 decades of methodical research conducted jointly by Canadian atmospheric scientist Robert Schemenauer and Chilean engineer Pilar Cereceda, beginning in the early 1970s. Schemenauer had spent years measuring what meteorologists call horizontal precipitation, liquid transferred from moving air to solid surfaces without ever falling as rain. Coastal deserts, he found, regularly received more overhead water through aerial contact than through annual rainfall combined. The Atacama sits directly beneath one of the most moisture-dense air currents in the southern hemisphere. The Comanchica, a cold Pacific air mass rolling inland nightly across the mountain range. The problem was never water availability. It was capture. Schemenauer and Cereceda designed what they called a standard fog collector, a 1 square meter woven screen mounted vertically in the path of incoming Pacific air. Condensation forming on the fibers ran downward by gravity into a trough below. In peer-reviewed work from the 1980s, they confirmed yields at Chungungo's El Tofo ridge reaching between 3.7 and 7.1 liters per square meter daily during peak periods. Scaled to the full 94-panel array completed in 1992, that translated to the 15,000 daily liters supplying all 330 residents. For 8 years it operated as the village's primary supply source. Engineers and hydrologists from more than 40 countries visited to study the array. Chungungo wasn't an experiment. It was proof, measured, replicated, and verified, that a woven vertical surface could turn arid coastal air into reliable daily supply. So how old is this idea really? Archaeologists excavating pre-Columbian sites along Peru's shoreline in the 1990s and early 2000s found stone structures on coastal ridges that matched no known agricultural or defensive purpose. Carved channels ran from elevated flat surfaces toward interior catchment zones. The positioning, always on the windward side of hills facing the Pacific, matched vertical screen placement exactly. Peruvian archaeologist Josue Lancho Rojas detailed these structures in work from 2001, arguing that communities dating back over 2,000 years had deliberately harvested condensation from stone surfaces to supply hillside agriculture in a region receiving under 15 millimeters of annual rainfall. The same pattern appeared in the Canary Islands. A species called Pinus canariensis, the Canarian pine, was historically planted on ridge lines specifically because its needle structure captured airborne droplets at rates high enough to supply springs below. Spanish colonial records from the 16th century describe communities depending on these trees for supply in dry years. If real mechanisms like this are useful to you, hit subscribe. This channel covers one every week. Morocco's Anti-Atlas Mountains produced the largest modern proof of concept. In 2015, Darcy Mad, a Moroccan NGO, completed what became the world's largest operational aerial water harvesting installation near Sidi Ifni in the 8 Bamrain region. 14 panels covering 600 square meters of vertical screen surface were positioned on Mount Bout Mesgida at 1,225 meters elevation. Monitoring records from 2015 through 2019 confirmed average daily yields between 6,300 and 6,800 liters, supplying 5 villages and 400 residents in a region where women previously walked 3 to 5 hours daily to reach functioning water points. Here's exactly how a sheet of mesh pulls liquid straight out of moving air. Airborne mist is not rain. It's a suspension of droplets so small, between 1 and 40 microns in diameter, that they remain suspended rather than falling under gravity. A cubic meter of dense mist contains between 0.05 and 0.5 grams of liquid. Small per unit volume, but the volumes moving through a mountain pass on a single night are enormous. When that suspended liquid contacts a solid strand, surface tension causes it to adhere rather than bounce. On a woven screen with porosity between 35 and 45%, the range Schemenauer's team identified as optimal, beads form on individual strands at a rate governed by both wind speed and strand diameter. Finer strands capture more per unit area because they present more surface relative to their cross-section. At 35 to 45% open area, enough air passes through to maintain consistent movement without the panel creating a wind barrier that deflects incoming air around it rather than through it. Accumulated beads merge, reach sufficient mass, and fall by gravity toward the trough below. No energy required. No moving parts. No maintenance beyond periodic cleaning of dust and debris from strand surfaces. Material matters significantly. Raschel shade cloth, a flat-knit polypropylene woven material, has become the standard in verified installations because its flat strand profile captures condensation more efficiently than round alternatives. University of Atacama researchers confirmed in 2015 that Raschel mesh outperformed stainless steel and nylon alternatives by between 40 and 200% under identical aerial conditions. Elevation, wind direction, and aerial moisture frequency determine whether a site produces. The structure itself, once correctly positioned, lets physics run. But what happens somewhere fog never reaches at all? MIT's June 2025 publication in the journal Nature Water described a passive harvesting device tested in Death Valley, California, operating in conditions where every existing collection system fails completely. The device used an engineered hydrogel containing lithium chloride, a compound that pulls vapor from air at humidity levels as low as 10%. Field testing over 1 week produced liquid consistently across humidity readings between 21 and 88%, the lowest and far below any screen panel's functional range. The MIT team estimated 8 panels of their prototype could supply one adult's daily drinking requirement. Lead researcher Chong Liu, now at the National University of Singapore, described the next development phase as optimizing yield, reducing production cost, and testing multi-panel arrays across diverse climates. That development path points toward what practitioners have understood for 3 decades. The limiting factor was never physics. It was site specificity. Screen-based collection works where coastal air meets elevated terrain. The Dar C Mat array in Morocco, the Atacama systems in Chile, Peru's Atrapaniblos projects near Lima, all operate in that specific geography. Outside it, yields collapse. MIT's hydrogel approach decouples the process from aerial mist entirely, operating on ambient vapor alone. For any landowner in an elevated coastal region, a ridge location with consistent aerial moisture, or an area with reliable overnight temperature drops generating dew, the proven low-cost approach remains immediately applicable. A 600 square meter array like Dar Mads costs under 50,000 to build and operates for years on cleaning labor alone. Overhead moisture moves through most dry landscapes nightly. What determines collection is what you position in its path. Chungungo didn't find new supply. It found a way to intercept liquid already moving through the air above it every night. That liquid exists above most dry landscapes worldwide. The structure intercepting it costs less than one truck delivery. If aerial moisture reaches your land, this works. Subscribe for the next forgotten method.